So Kalosian Meganium is probably going to be Grass Fairy type. We see that Chikorita learns Disarming Voice now, which it hasn't previously. That's a Fairy type move. And normally when a new move gets added like that, it's for a reason. So, Totodile, Chikorita, and Tepig. Did Typhlosion get cancelled because of all the recent controversy? Ignore that. So my favorite question to ask about anything and everything in Pokemon is, why? The starter Pokemon in Legends Arceus all had deep design lore reasons for being chosen, and I don't think Legends ZA is any different. And this particular batch is fun because almost a year ago exactly I predicted 2 out of 3 of them. Maybe I would have gotten it if I thought it possible that 2 out of the 3 options would be from the same region. So why these 3? Well, because when it comes to their hopefully inevitable regional evolutions, they are easily French fried. Think about the 4 most famous French things. Cooking, knights, medieval heraldry, fantasy, fairy magic, and such kind of stuff. And fashion. Yes, a fashion Feraligatr. That one's going to take a bit of an explanation, but also consider sewers. I'm sure you've heard of the common cryptid/urban legend/thing that actually happens of crocodiles and alligators living in sewers. But did you know that the sewer under Paris is one of, if not the, most famous sewer systems in the world? While not the first, it was the first of its kind and scale, and built all the way back in the 1370s. And it was so revolutionary at the time that when Victor Hugo wrote the famous Les Miserables, he dedicated an entire chapter to just explaining the sewer. Like, at this point in the story, the characters are escaping through the sewer, and instead of, most of the text being about their daring escape, it's just the author info-dumping and waxing poetic about the sewer system and its history, because it's that cool. And that's also a part of why it's so famous. With that idea in mind, I could very much see a water poison type Kalosian Feraligatr. Smaller, narrower, to fit through all the tight enclosures. Maybe it even goes down on all 4s, though can still stand up, akin to Skeledirge. Oh gosh, but imagine what it smells like. They say Paris smells like pee, so being next to this Feraligatr wouldn't be anything new smell-wise, but that's not the only reason for a French croc. Consider the French fashion industry, the world's biggest and most famous. Not only are there crocodile skin belts, shoes, and other accessories, but consider the more modern fashion trend of wearing big, bold brand names just slapped onto your shirt or your hat or your anywhere there could be a logo slapped. Just a giant Nike, Adidas, checky stripe huge on your shirt. Supreme! Do you know where that trend started? The very first company to do so was a Parisian one from Paris. Lacoste, something like that. And their logo is a crocodile. René Lacoste, the company's founder, was given the nickname The Crocodile by the American press after he bet his team captain a crocodile skin suitcase that he would win this match of his. He was later redubbed The Crocodile by French fans because of his tenacity on the tennis court. His company is most famous for making athletic wear. It's like the brand to wear while playing tennis. Fashion is a super broad topic though, making it hard to pin down exactly what Kalosian Feraligatr's second type could be. But if we mix the idea of fashion and undercity infrastructure like sewers, we could point to the Parisian catacombs. One of the biggest catacombs in the world, but easily the most famous. It is spooky central, so perhaps an ethereal water ghost type Feraligatr, wearing billowy high-fashion death robes. I could see it. But now, Chikorita, or rather, Meganium. Back when I predicted it, I kinda reduced its aromatherapy aspect and went into a more knight, steed, and jousting angle, but it learns Disarming Voice now, pointing to the high possibility of Meganium gaining the fairy type, which is even more fitting of aromatherapy, which the line has always been about. Just look at its many Pokedex entries. The entire line can be reduced down to smelly plant dinosaur. It's smelly in a good way, anyway. Linking it to Paris is easy. Paris is the city of love. It has such a booming flower bouquet industry and flower gardens all over the place. But even more fittingly, the word aromatherapy comes from French. It was first used by French chemist René Maurice Gatrefosse when he wrote the book Aromatherapie, in which he described that herbal medications could treat any ailment, because supposedly his burnt hand healed more quickly after he dunked it in some lavender. Which, sure, bud, sure. Just so I'm not bashing on anyone, there is some science to suggest that aromatherapy can help with certain things, just not like 98% of the things that people say it could. You know, you're not gonna cure cancer because your room smells nice. But anyway, the idea of aromatherapy goes back all the way to the ancient times, most notably ancient Egypt, but the modern word aromatherapy, of course, comes from French. Even though aromatherapy as a practice has existed since ancient Egypt, though, medieval Europe didn't really know about it until the Knights of the Crusades brought aromatic essences with them back to Europe. After all that. And then, of course, there was the whole Black Death. Plague doctors famously kept herbs, cinnamon, and cloves in the beak of their masks in an attempt to filter the air from its impurities. And the simple nasty smell of death. Imagine a Kalosian Meganium that gives it a plague doctor beak, because shrimps is bugs. I mean, because birds is dinosaurs. I could also see Meganium getting like a whole fairy ring around its neck, or on its back even, and a pink tinge. Maybe its antennae that resemble flower stamens could be lavender specifically now? Could be. But Tepig, I mean, French food? Need I say more? The French practically invented the cookbook, and pork was one of, if not the most consumed meats in France in the Middle Ages. Pigs thrive there. Hence also pigs being trained to do the truffle hunting there, because, like, truffles are big there too. But it was mainly for eating. Pork is tasty, and pig fat was used in just so many recipes, including candles. Yeah, before wax was easy to get, it was reserved for the nobles and clergy. Peasants had to use candles made from animal fat or greaves, hence grievered. But that kind of links this route to Emboar even more, as if a fire type who cooks wasn't an easy enough connection to make already. Also, consider that France was pretty close-knit with the US's original colonies, seeing that the French helped in the American Revolution, which in turn led to the French Revolution, and eventually the French made the Statue of Liberty as a gift to the US. So there's gotta be some Unnovan starter rep somewhere. May as well be the pig, I guess. Also, France loves their fancy foods. And pork, if you haven't gathered by me repeating myself, is definitely food. Give it a curly, fancy French chef moustache, and make the ornate Chinese designs on its belly more closely resemble the slots on front of classic ovens. Boom. Perfect. I could see Fire Steel, or Fire Dark even. French cooking is second only to Chinese as far as animal cruelty goes, and that's as dark type as it gets. Also, the top two contenders being France and China, and Emboar having the Chinese ornate symbols, like, that's just even better of a connection. Egad. Fire Dark confirmed. I go into even more detail about French frying Meganium and Emboar in that predictions video, which is linked here now, but let me know some of your theories below, and never stop using your noggin.